Alright guys, we're here with Nick Palazola. We got Dragonmaid Deck Profile. He's been doing pretty good with the locals lately.
Yeah.
Alright Nick, show us your spice.
Alright, so Dragonmaids, for 3-0s, you only run 2 of them at 3-0s, and it's 3 kitchen, 3 parlor. Kitchen's like the combo starter. If you open your hand going first and you don't see kitchen, you're pretty much going to open a pretty mediocre board. Kitchen searches any monster, and then any Dragonmaid monster, and then sends any Dragonmaid monster to the grave from your hand. Parlor can send any Dragonmaid card from your deck to the grave, so it's like a Foolish Burial specifically for Dragonmaids. The things that are really good with Parlor in there is like the fusion spell, because you can get it back from your grave, and then the new trap, because you can banish it to special summon a Dragonmaid from your hand or grave. And then for the rest of the little ones, it's 2 chamber, 2 nurse, 2 laundry. Chamber, just standard good. It searches any Dragonmaid spell or trap to your hand from your deck. Nurse special summons a level 4 lower Dragonmaid from your grave. I used to only run 1 laundry, but like with the addition of the trap, and also with the addition of the new trap, and also how good it is to see some of these in the grave, I was like 2 laundry is probably better, because if you open with it and your mills are good, you can actually just pop off like unexpectedly. And then for the big Dragonmaids, it's 2 of each. It's 2 Tinkek, Lorpar, and Ernest. The only reason you run the big ones is because you really need them in certain situations. Like, there are going to be times where, especially if the game's going like into like a grind mode, being able to bounce the little ones back to special the big ones to swing for game is going to be really important. Their discard effects, they all have discard effects. They're okay. Like, Tinkex is if you discard them during the battle phase, you can give any Dragonmaid 2000 attack. So it's like kind of like a worse version of Honest. Lorpar, on your turn, you can discard it and negate a monster effect. If you're going second and you see Lorpar and they make a board with like Warlord Savage, you just drop Lorpar, and then they're forced to either negate it or not. It doesn't really matter, because Warlord Savage is going to be irrelevant. And then with Ernest, she's actually really good. Whenever you discard Ernest, you can special level 4 or lower Dragonmaid from your hand, and it'll help you extend your combos a lot. Other than that, they're really just there for their bounce effects.
Buffalo?
And then, other than that, it's just Wyvern Buster and Collapse Serpent. They're just extenders. They help you extend. And then Darkness Metal, he's, again, just an extender. Just good in any dragon deck.
Except for monsters?
That's it for monsters. Oh, no, actually. 2 Ash. It's the best hand trap in the game. Just run Ash. Alright, so
2 and not 3?
Yeah, just 2. So for spells, 3 World Legacy Guard Dragon. You really need this if you're going first and you're looking to combo onto the board. World Legacy Guard Dragon is pretty much needed for your LP plays, and then LP goes into Darkness Metal, and then from there you can actually start making a board. Other than that, the only other 3 of is Hospitality. Hospitality is like a Monster Reborn on crack. You can special summon any Dragonmaid from your grave or your hand,
that card's
and
pretty stupid.
You can send the other version of it from your deck to the grave. But the thing is, like, it's literally just any Dragonmaid. So like, if you have your fusions in the grave, you can just special summon them with Hospitality. It gets kind of dumb. And then only 1 of the fusion spell. I used to run 2, but it really becomes a dead draw. And the thing is, you're pretty much, part of your combo is pretty much always going to be getting changeover into your hand and then using it. After that, you can just get it back from your grave if you really need it. So having one makes it so that I don't have that dead draw, and then, I mean, it's pretty easy to, like I said, search it out. So one Monster Reborn, that's, I think, pretty self-explanatory. Monster Reborn's a good card.
Especially if you're on 3-card dragon.
Yeah. One World Legacy Succession. This is really just an extender. You really don't see it very much, or you don't play it very much when you do. It's really just in case if you open up the right things and you have World Legacy Succession, you can end up making a board that, like, you're already going to have a really tough board to get over, and then World Legacy Succession's like that thing where it's like, okay, well, let me make it a little harder, like a little more impossible.
Yeah.
And then 2 Desires. The reason I run Desires for my, like, card draw card, I guess, is because Changeover, it's at 1. Typically you're gonna be able to get it to your hand, and then after that, like, once you combo off, if you have a Desires too, anything you banish is pretty irrelevant. It's very unlikely that you banish something that you actually need. I've played Desires a couple of times, you know, already through like the months that I've been playing this deck, and I think maybe twice have I banished something where I was like, oh, okay, I actually kind of needed that. And then also I have a triple tactical talents in here. This should actually be a 3rd imperm. This is just like filler.
Okay.
So for the traps,
4,000. Your death game. Yeah.
it's
Well, nothing. I had about
2 imperm, 2 judgment, 1 tiding, and like I said, this should be a 3rd imperm.
All right, and tiding is something new that come out there most recently.
Yeah, that came out of Rise.
What's it do?
So if you set it, you can target 1 dragon monster you control and 1 card your opponent controls or in their grave, and return them to the hand. So it's like, it's kind of like a compulse, but I don't think I've ever used it for that or tried to use it for that. Again, I only run 1 because it's really easy to get in the grave. Once you get it in the grave, you can banish it and special summon a Dragonmaid from either your hand or grave with, you know, extending your combos.
Okay.
And then the 2 imperm, like I said, this should be 3 imperm, and that's because imperm's like the best trap in the meta right now.
Best hand trap.
And then 2 judgment, because if you open up a board and you can end on, like, typically you're going to end on like Sheo, which is a negate for anything, and then like an Appaloosa. And then if you get in on a judgment too, that'll stop pretty much anything your opponent tries to do. They'd have to, like, if they go for like Dark Ruler, right? But you have judgment, then it's like, oh, well, all right, that's, there that goes. All right, now the extra deck. So it's 2 Sheo and 2 House for the Dragonmaid fusions. Sheo came out in Eternity Code.
Yeah, that was the Mesa.
Yeah, it just needs 1 Dragonmaid and then 1 level 5 or higher dragon. And once returned, you can negate and destroy anything. Just 1 effect, and when it happens, it bounces back to the extra deck, and you special House from the extra deck. House, whenever a dragon bounces back to your hand, except during the damage step, but what happens is at the start of the battle phase, your dragons bounce back, and if you have House, House pops a monster, and that's not once per turn. So she could like clear, she's something that you kind of just force them to deal with it.
Have you ever went into a second Shay?
No, because I'm pretty sure Sheo is yeah, it says you can only use each effect of Dragonmaid Sheo once per turn.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I can make 2 Sheos sometimes, but there's absolutely no point. So other than these, the only other fusion in here is, this came from the new Battles of Legend, Trish.
Okay.
Trish is okay. I rarely go into it. I only go into it if my board is already made with like Sheo and Appaloosa, and then for some reason I have 3 dragons left over. Then I'll just go into Trish, banish the top card of their deck, banish a card from their extra deck, and just be like, all right, I hope that helped. It's a good card, but I just rarely go into it. And then, other than that, it's the only 2 XZ's monsters in here are Titanic Hope and Ding. Lorpar and Tinkak are level 8, and so is House. And there are plenty of times where you can end with 2 level 8s, and typically you're just going to go into Titanic. Like, the whole point is to go first and set up a board. If you set up with Titanic as well, like, I've made boards where it's Sheo, Appaloosa, and Titanic.
Wow.
At that point, you have a really nice board. Ding is, if you're going second and you can open up and get Ding, he's obviously really good to help break boards and stuff. Everything else is links. You got Erratic. Erratic's pretty decent. He can bounce something back and then special summon a dragon from your deck. I've ended on boards with like Sheo, Appaloosa, and Erratic too because it's just another interrupt. It's a lot easier to end with that than it is Titanic. And so then there's Appaloosa, of course. I have a Nightmare Phoenix in here. This is just in case I need to clear back row and if I need stuff in the grave, but none of my extenders are really viable, just link them into Phoenix. Cross Sheep is really like what the combo revolves around when you're going first, because if you open with Cross Sheep, you'll usually end up getting Sheo will special, or Cross Sheep's effect will special another one. You can keep popping off from there. The 2 guard dragons, Pisty and LP, they're really essential for the combos as well.
Are you going to upgrade them next week? For the 10s? They're going to be Prismatic Seekers. Maybe?
Maybe. I mean, I like the way they look super, so maybe. And then the other 2 are 1-star Yugioh. This one is part of your combo as well. It helps extend, you draw off of it, you can find more. And also, once you get him, like, typically it'll be Cross Sheep, LP, World Legacy Guard Dragon moves LP, you special, and then after that, you'll go into Star Yugioh, and then with Star Yugioh, you can just go into Pisty and special right there. And then Boral Sword. Boral Sword, I go into him every now and then to end a game, but it's pretty rare. Like, if they can break my board after turn 1, then I might make him to, like, you know, swing for game. But if I can't, then Boral Sword's typically not coming out. But he's just the most, like, he's like the best option as like a last extra deck slot. You know what I mean?
So why Boral Sword versus Access Code Talker?
Access Code is really good. It's just making Access Code and then actually like getting its effect off is helpful, but it's not. I can't do the things with Access Code like Salamangreat can, where they attack twice with it. And I mean, honestly, I've thought about putting an Access Code Talker in, and I might, but if I take anything out for Access Code Talker, it would be Nightmare Phoenix. I would still keep Boral Sword because it's always a viable option.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Nick.